None of this is my gear. This is my girlfriend's roommate has this really sick first act. It's Delia, I believe. I know nothing of these guitars, so don't ask me any questions about this. Pickups are our first act. He's got a Vox AC30. I'm running a little MXR Dynacomp. He's got an old Line 6 Verbzilla. And that's all that I've got going right now. Sounds pretty nice, actually. They're just first act pickups. Yeah, I don't know anything about this guitar apart from the fact that it has some super old strings on it. And it sounds really nice. That's the neck pickup. This thing actually sounds pretty nice, doesn't it? It's in E flat, so I can't really do it. Can do this part though. There's no songs in E flat, so they're gonna sound a little whack, but I can give you like a clean section or something. I'll do this one. Sounds really whack in this key. It should be up half a step. I guess it kind of does, doesn't it? I think it sounds pretty nice. There's a bunch of other rad guitars in this room, but I have the phone precariously placed on the guitar rack where they all are, so I'll have to move you if I'm going to change guitars. I'm pretty content with this right now, though. This is what it sounds like with a little drive. Got to take the verb off, though, because he has his verb in front of the drive, which is weird, but just a little bit. This is like it's a full tone overdrive. Had to bail on the verb to get the drive, but it's pretty meaty. But if you guys know the Vox AC30, it's like pretty dark and kind of squishy sounding amp. Can't wait to hear the Friedman on the album. Dude, it sounds really good. The rhythm guitars sound kind of bananas. This thing needs strings though, it keeps slipping. Yeah, it's pretty like dark and chewy. If it had some brighter strings, it would definitely punch. Also, less than ideal situation on the pick. I didn't bring any picks with me this weekend. But yeah, so this thing's pretty dope. It's, you know, a little different than my usual fare. It's a really sick guitar though. Makes me want to like put some fresh strings and give it a setup. But you love that song. Well, you haven't heard the whole thing yet because it's on my record, which hasn't come out yet. But cheers. Thank you very much. I can't wait for you to hear the actual thing. It's also in standard tuning, so it sounds different than that. That was key of F. The song's actually in F sharp. I've heard the whole thing. From who? Oh, it's Kevin. Yes, you have. Sorry, I didn't recognize your name in there, dog. I was just like, who the hell? And how the hell? Dude, I hope you're well, man. Yeah, you guys would recognize it from Instagram. Little half-ass blues. How do you come up with your riffs? I don't know, dude. That's a good question. It's just intuition, you know? I just kind of, I don't know. I just kind of have a listen and just kind of feel it out. I'm going to move back a little bit. I don't know. I just kind of vibe up. I don't really have like a specific, there's no science to writing riffs. I could, but not on this guitar. Not enough frets. It's also an E flat, so everything sounds a little bit, you know, a little bit different than intended. Which is cool though. It's also not holding tuning very well, but oh, you checked out Sex Tape? Yeah, Chris is awesome. do the double pick note thing again? Which one? Like that kind of thing? Like that? Or which one? The diminished one? That? For the guy who's asking? Weird. Looks like an avocado or something. This guitar is slipping. No, it doesn't really hold tuning very well. I'm gonna do Nick a favor and bring him some strings and set this bad boy up. It's a really sick guitar. If you're going to be playing. I'm still waiting to hear back, man. I know they're like they just got back from Australia and they're starting rehearsals in Nashville. I'm just waiting to hear back. But we're in touch about it, so hopefully it happens. It's just like a matter of them being able to coordinate a third guitar line and all that stuff. Like obviously there's logistics. I'm not going to walk out there and take somebody else's instrument. I'd have to be set up for it. You guys hear me play diminished licks? Never. Here's a cool one for all the hybrid picking guys. You just take like a symmetrical diminished shape. Obviously move it in minor thirds. The pick is a little less than ideal though. Like I said, this isn't my usual fare. But basically you all pick everything on the D string and then you use your middle finger to pluck the beat. Which is kind of neat. You can slide the top note if you want. That kind of thing. It's kind of a fun lick. You could do the same thing in like, you know, for example, this would be like C sharp major, I guess. I'm doing the same technique with my right hand, just using notes that are a little prettier, I guess. You can do that kind of thing. That's more legato. You could also pick it. That sounds a little more deliberate. That's kind of nice. Do you hybrid pick with your middle and ring finger? Yeah, I use my middle finger primarily because it's the one that's available. If I just need to do like, you know, one note like this, then I'm going to use middle finger. And if I need a note on top of it, then I'll use my ring finger. So if I had a sequence like that kind of thing, you can, hopefully you guys can see. Yeah, pardon me. Right? Yeah, for upstrokes, exactly. Slow it down. All right, well, I'm down a half step, so this is like, I'm basing it off like a C sharp 9. So you have root, 5th, and then the 9 on top. And I'm playing root, major 7, root again, 5th, 9. So you pick, so that's all alternate pick. And then you get middle finger, ring finger, and then that's to get so the middle finger is on your 5th, and then you get the 9 with your ring, with your ring finger. So it's pretty much just like using alternate picking. You could go, but you see how much more my hand has to move to do that? Aaron, do you use the diatonic modes or use scales that go over 7 regular notes? I mean, I use both. I think that, you know, I don't think you can only have one. I think you get pretty bored of that. You know, once you have an understanding of, you know, diatonic theory, then you can start to take liberties with the outside, right? But you have to understand the inside to get the outside, you know, if that makes sense. How did you learn music theory? Self-taught? I mean, I've had some teachers over the course of, you know, how long I've been playing and stuff, but none of it ever really gelled when I was like, you know, a lot of the stuff I learned from them was just other stuff, not really theory related. After high school, I just wanted to, like, you know, I was like, all right, fuck it. I want to know why everything is the way it is instead of just playing off intuition. You know, because I was one of those guys who would only be able to play, you know, for example, like, you know, natural minor. Right? Which I still use a lot, of course, because it's, I mean, why wouldn't you? And the major scale. But I couldn't connect the dots before. Like, if you asked me to play Locrian, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it. If you asked for Mixo, you know, Lydian, I bent it a little bit there, but there's, for the guy who's asking if I ever use outside notes, there you go. I started in Lydian, that's fully diatonic. And then you hear that, that's out. This, stuff like that, of course. There you go, there's another one. It's kind of like a combination of like Lydian and Phrygian dominant kind of thing. For the guy who cares anyway. I'm probably boring everybody with that, but any recommendation on self-teaching? I mean, just, I don't know, there's so much content on YouTube, I feel like that can be misleading. You know, so you just have to, like, be careful. Be careful with, yeah, I know the guy saying YouTube, but, like, just careful, though, because a lot of guys have this really overly complicated, like, very convoluted way of teaching very simple things. To be honest, you should just not because I'm just, like, here and trying to sell myself, but you should grab an hour with me, and we can talk about how I look at it on the fingerboard. And I'm pretty sure, just based on the experience most of my students have, learning pretty much having zero idea of any of these theoretical concepts and then taking them within at least an hour, 2 hours, up to being able to, like, navigate the fingerboard comfortably. I think that my method works. I've seen it happen, first and foremost. You know? Figuring out parts by ear. I mean, you just gotta, like, put the time in. You know, if you're, yeah, there's no real way, like, I think the concern with a lot of guitar players for learning stuff by ear is that, like, okay, you might be getting the notes down, but am I playing it correctly? That kind of comes from experience. Like, when you hear something, you kind of know where, like, just based on intuition, you know where they were performing it on the fingerboard. At the very least, though, if you're just lifting a single note line or a melody or something, phrase it out your way. As long as you're getting the notes down, it's still healthy. If you're trying to play something, like, identical, you know, like, if you want to get it note for note, try and find a live video or something to go with it, and then that should hopefully aid you in, like, where they're performing. I mean, you could perform lines all over the fingerboard, right? So it's, if you want to nail exactly how they're doing it, like, definitely, like, listen to it and figure it out, but help yourself out. Find a live video. Don't drive yourself crazy. So self-taught. A lot of Guthrie going videos on YouTube. Yeah, Guthrie's great. I mean, he's a technique beast, so plenty of some cool parts that are pretty easy to learn. Yeah, not everything has to be complicated. The good stuff typically isn't. When you guys hear my new record, I think you'll understand. There's some flash, but the good stuff is not necessarily the flashy stuff. Yep, there'll be a tab book at least 3 weeks, 4 weeks behind the release of the album. If you guys are ever asking if there's going to be a tab book, if that's ever a question, the answer is always going to be yes. I don't release tabs willy-nilly. I do them all in a book and I have it published. Yeah, it's always with Sheet Happens. It's run by Protest the Hero. They're the homies, so we're really close and stuff. So there's no reason I wouldn't do it. I've been asked about that before, like the technique book or like a lesson book or something. I just don't really have the time for it right now. It's not something I really desire to do. It would take a lot of time to do it properly in the way that I would want to do it. So the answer is no for now. I'd rather invest that time in writing music. Do I listen to RX Bandits? I know a little bit. I should probably get into more, yeah? Sorry, I'm not looking at your questions right now. I'm just kind of vibing. Haha, that's funny. Are you asking if I have relative pitch versus perfect pitch? Was that the question? I definitely don't have perfect pitch. Relative pitch is more, yeah, relative pitch is more appropriate, I think. Meet a lot of people who say they have it. Yeah, I've met a lot of those people. Yeah, it's funny. This thing's got dead-ass strings. You know, for anybody who's always debating, like, oh, you know, like, is an Axe Effects better than a real tube amp and stuff? It's like, you can't have, it's like the chicken and the egg thing. You can't have the Axe without real tube amps. This is why real tube amps are amazing. This thing is old as hell. It's buzzing like crazy. Can you hear how noisy it is? It needs to have its tubes changed. The thing's got it's full of dirty pots. This thing is old as fuck. The strings are dead on this thing. I'm running like old ass pedals, and listen, it's just the best tone. I'm not even trying. Like, I literally turned it on. I let it warm up. I turned it on. I put the reverb pedal on, a little compression, and I just went, and I was like, yup. Vox AC30, like, can you really beat that, you know? Like, listen to that, come on. There's so much subtle nuance in the way that sounds. And this isn't even like a quality reverb pedal. This is an old Line 6 Verbzilla. They're good, but it's like, it's no Strymon or anything. So you prefer tube amps to Axe Effects. Well, you just misinterpreted what I said. You see, I prefer tube amps, but the Axe Effects is made to emulate tube amps. So did I really say I prefer one or the other, or did I just say that I like things that involve tube amps? It doesn't discredit the Axe Effects. The Axe Effects is amazing. I feel like a lot of people get that twisted. They're like, one or the other, and it's like, no, you can't have one without the other. So Why do you have to choose? Why can't you have both? For a fly-in gig, I'm not going to fly a Vox AC30. I'm also probably less apt to request one on backline or a Fender Deluxe or this or that. Doesn't really matter. I like a lot of amps, but like, why would I do that? I can fly with an Axe-Fx that has all of my patches completely preset, and I can run that into a stage monitor, and I can run that to front of house, and I'm going to be confident in my sound every night, and I can put it in the overhead compartment of an airplane. Not have to worry about, like, did the backline company get me a good one, you know? Out of every 10 AC30s, maybe 6 of them are going to be dope. You know? 6 of them might have mojo, if you know what I'm saying. So it's like, yeah, I would have a tube amp all the time. If I had fucking roadies and people to like lift my shit and do everything all the time, then 100% I'd have a tube amp on stage like always. I'm actually probably going to transition into it going forward. But you know, why stop using the Axe? It doesn't, you know, it's so good. It's so close, and it feels relatively similar, like especially with this new Quantum update. They've got it going on, man. The shit feels amazing. But when you sit down and you play one of these, you go, ah, right. I mean, that's why the Axe exists, is because it's built to emulate this. So it's not about one or the other. And that concept goes for a lot of things these days. Everyone's like, this or that, make a choice. Like everyone's always, and it's especially with bands and stuff. It's like, why do you have to pick one? Why can't you just do your homework and realize that everything is what it is for a reason? And that being open-minded is about diversity, and it's not about just like saying like, I'm an Animals and Sleaters fan, so I don't get X band or Y band, or I'm a so-and-so fan, so I have to like, you know. Here's one, I'm a metal fan, so I can't like pop music. Like, are you kidding? You're kidding, right? I'm a X fan, so I can't like rap music. Fuck off. Just do you. Who gives a fuck? I get flack all the time for sharing for music that's outside of what people believe. Like, people believe I'm just this guy who only exists in like guitar and metal and stuff, and it's like, well, the people who know who I am are in that realm. I totally understand that, but like, don't start messaging me and give me shit because I shared a Church's song or the Neighborhood song or something. It's like, it's my public forum to share the things that I enjoy, and I like a lot of pop music. I like a lot of hip hop. I like soul. I like R&B. I like electronic music. I'll share a Justin Bieber song and tell you that it's fucking amazing because it's good. I don't care. It's not about like, oh, I listen to metal, so like, fuck the mainstream, fuck pop music. It's like, life must be so hard if you limit yourself like that. Like, do you really not let yourself enjoy things? Like, are you that person? Or, I don't know, I'm really venting right now. This went from music to like, some like next shit. But hopefully you guys agree, like, you know, anybody who's like, oh no, like I'm into this, so I can't be into that. It's like, do you think for yourself, or... Bethany would, for those who have stuck around this long, I'll show you the setup anyway, because like I'm pretty much done here. One second, let me turn this around. It's that's what you're hearing. Old ass Vox, man. Old ass, doesn't even have the logo. One of them there. Call Me Maybe has to be one of my favorite songs. Well, fuck yeah, it's a wicked song. Her other tunes are great too. The one with Tom Hanks in the video is so dope. These are the pedals, like I said. MXR comp, old ass Verbzilla, and then he's got his drive after the reverb. I was tempted to switch it, but fuck it, I'm not gonna come in here and dick around with this stuff. Nick's away right now. Well, he's just somewhere else. There's this really, like, look at this little thing too they got in here. I'm in this tiny little space. I'll show you after. My girlfriend's loft, they have like this like random little room where they just keep some gear and shit. And then look at this old ass Emperor cab. This thing's like, well, it's not that old, but I guess maybe it's like 5, 6, maybe 7 years old. This thing sounds really fucking sick. Like really sick. That Epiphone's dope too. It's got literally a volume knob. And that's all you need. Just your hands. Anybody who's like, oh, you need all these things to get tone, it's like, look at this thing. I should plug into it and show you what that sounds like. It's like, you don't need fuck all. You just need a good guitar and you need your hands. You don't even really need a good guitar, you just need to sound good. These are all the other guitars that are in here. This is like a custom Telly, it's not a Fender. It's like a Telly copy that was made for Nick. It's pretty dope. It's got like a dream catcher hanging off it and stuff. It's really sick. And then, whatever the hell this thing is, it's got like an old Epiphone Firebird headstock, but it's not an Epiphone, I don't think. I don't know what the hell that thing is. There's no name on the headstock. I don't know what it is. Then there's like this Firebird, special in Silverburst with mini humbuckers. I think they're Duncans. You can see that, it's got the mini buckers. That guitar is really dope. That's Gavin's guitar. Then there's this old Epiphone. I think it's a, what the hell is that, a Vegas? It's got P90s and a Bigsby. If you guys know Epiphone guitars, tell me if I'm wrong. I think it's a Vegas. I'm not sure. It's a really dope guitar. Yamaha acoustic, nothing crazy. Turn you around here. Whoop, gotta flip the camera. There we go. And then I'm playing this thing, the first act.